baby, we are right back into the action for another day of the week. Welcome to the Monday edition of Chasing That Paper, presented by VegasInsider.com, coming off a second consecutive 4-1 Sunday in the NFL. So we're going to try to bring that same energy into today, where we are all over the map with our coverage: Monday Night Football, NBA, NHL. No time to waste. Let's bring in my co-host for the day, senior editor over at BetMGM, live from New York City, the pride of New York. Look at him. Look at the guns. He is built like a fullback. So, Ian, before we get into it, some international travel for you over the weekend here.
Yep.
How did you were stuck in airports all day? That must have sucked when you're accustomed to being on the couch, watching football every Sunday.
Yeah, Nova Scotia and New York are way too close geographically for it to take, 16 hours to get from Nova Scotia to New York? Yeah, delays upon delays. Obviously, you can't go direct from Halifax, New York. You got to go to Toronto first. It was an all-time disaster. Left at 9 a.m. yesterday morning. Got back here to New York at midnight. So I'm a little tired today. Missed all of football yesterday, but I'm excited to get back into it.
Yeah, complete and total dog shit, these airlines. You pay them all this money, and they completely fuck you right over. And their attitude is, well, what are you going to do about it? You can drive if you want, or you can wait in this airport all day. We're not going to give you any discounts or anything. You just got to deal with it. And you'll book with us again because you got no other choice, God damn it. All right, let's get right into it here, Ian. Mexico City. Yes. Beautiful Mexico hosting a Monday Night Football. We got a big number, big spread in this one. Cards and 49ers getting after it. A different type of bet for your boy for this one. I'm going to target the Cardinals team total. It's at 16.5. I'm all over the under for this one. Let's get right into it. So this might seem like a low number, but not really. The 49ers have held 6 opponents to under 16.5 points already on the season. They've been beating up on bad offenses all season, and the Cards certainly qualify as a bad offense, coming in ranking 28th in yards per play. Take a look at the 49ers. They held the beat-up Chargers to 16 last week, the Rams to 14-9, the Panthers to 15, the Broncos to 11, the Seahawks to 7. And yeah, the big news coming out this morning, Colt McCoy is at the start, and he is by no means an upgrade over Kyler Murray. Some people floating that around. Yeah, decent game last week, sure. And I know we like to pick on Kyler Murray, but Murray has the ability to turn a game on its head. McCoy does not. He'll be in a lot of trouble tonight versus this dominant pass rush of the 49ers. And this Cards offense, totally prone to no-shows. Go back the calendar year, games of 10, 12, 16, and 11. This season, games of 12 and 9 versus the Rams and the Seahawks, 2 divisional opponents. Maybe a bit of a pattern there. Plus, their scoring numbers have looked better in recent weeks due to a handful of pick sixes. I think they're going to have trouble scoring tonight. So give me the Cards to go under their team total of 16.5. Ian, you like a side on the spread here. Who are you looking at for this game tonight in beautiful Mexico?
Yeah, I personally got this number at 7.5, but I still like it at 10 with the news of Colt McCoy starting. But give me the 49ers. I think they win big regardless tonight. Let's start off by looking at net yards per play, Joe. It is a stat that both of us like quite a bit. If you don't know what net yards per play is, it's quite simple. You take the average amount of yards gained per play on offense. You subtract the amount of yards given up per play on defense. It's a great place to start your handicapping and give an overall view of how well these teams play. Well, 49ers, 3rd in the NFL in net yards per play. The Cardinals all the way down at 31st. Only the Steelers were worse in net yards per play heading into week 11. And another big reason for the Cardinals' issues this year have been on third down. 28th in third down offense, converting only 34.7% of their third down chances. 26th in third down defense, allowing their opponents to gain over 40 or to convert over 43% of their third downs into first downs. And the 49ers offense is starting to click here. Their trade to acquire Christian McCaffrey has really been paying off. 6.2 yards per play over their last 3 games. That's up from their season average of 5.9, and it's also the 4th highest mark in the NFL over that stretch. So I think the 49ers win big tonight. I'll take him, whatever you can get the spread at.
All right, Ian. You like a player prop in this one as well. Of course, we know Kyler Murray is sitting, but you like him to get over 26.5 kills in a Call of Duty.
Yes.
While not watching the game. So tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, I think that one's a pretty good lock. He's been spending a lot of time playing Call of Duty. But no, for real, my favorite prop bet for tonight is James Conner to go under his rushing total. It's available out there at 51.5 as my cat walks across my screen here.
Sexy.
He's averaging only 44.9 rushing yards per game. That mark of 44.9 rushing yards, that's less than his set total tonight. I don't know if you could figure that out just by looking at it, but it is. And now he has to take on the 49ers rush defense, which is the #1 run defense in the NFL, and it's not even close. They're giving up only 3.4 yards per carry. That is 0.4 yards fewer than the next best team. And also, if the 49ers are big favorites tonight, and they are, and they get out to a big lead, that's going to lead to a negative game script, and it's going to lead to the Cardinals having to throw the ball. So I don't know how many opportunities James Conner is going to get to run with it. So I'll take under 51.5 rushing yards for his rushing total tonight.
All right, beautiful Mexico playing host to the game tonight. Ian, of course, confided in me that he has never been to Mexico. I was there once. I went to an all-inclusive resort, and it was absolutely lovely. I cannot wait to go back. Maybe after the Super Bowl, Ian and I will go down to Mexico together. Separate rooms, of course.
Yes.
Okay, moving from the NFL over to the NBA, my two best bets. We're going to start things off in Minnesota, where the Miami Heat are in town. Total of 219.5 for this one. Boom! Give me the over. All over it tonight. So these two defenses just flat out stink. Check out opponent effective field goal shooting percentage over the last 10 games. 27 for Miami. That's a shock. 24th for Minnesota. I thought they were supposed to be better on defense with Rudy Gobert. Not so much. And Miami should have a good opportunity to bounce back offensively after a bad game last night, taking on the Timberwolves defense here, who's getting killed from the three-point line and the free throw line. Last 10 games. Minnesota is 29th in both threes allowed and free throws allowed. Offensively, though, Timberwolves may be starting to turn a bit of a corner here after a sluggish start. Last 5 games, they are 6th in points per game at 117.4. That's resulted in 4 overs in those 5 games. And conveniently, for what it's worth, they're awful defensively on their home court. They're ranked 28th in points allowed at home this season. So expect Miami and Minnesota to get into the 220s tonight. All right, next up, it is my favorite player prop of the night. I'm going to target one of Ian's favorite players, Tyrese Halliburton.
Yes.
For the Indiana Pacers, his 3-point total, 2.5 plus money, plus 106. Give me the over. So Halliburton to hit at least 3 threes tonight versus the Orlando Magic. And he hits 3 threes quite often. He's done it in 10 of 15 games so far this season. The volume will absolutely be there for Tyrese Halliburton. 8.6 3-point attempts per game in November. 3-point attempts accounting for more than half of his shot attempts. In Orlando, not good against the three-pointer. 26 and threes allowed over the last 10 games. He hit 3 against them on Saturday. Give me Halliburton over 2.5 threes. Okay. Next up, we move to the ice. 3 total picks. 1 for Ian, 2 for me. Ian, what is your 1 for the NHL tonight?
Yes, I'm looking at the New York Islanders and my Toronto Maple Leafs, and I'm going to take the over 6 at minus 120 here. I've talked about this, I think, at least a couple times on this show, but I'm going to keep betting overs in Islanders games until sportsbooks start to adjust for their new style of play, because they are not the defensive team that we're used to seeing from past years. They play a wide-open style, and that wide-open style has led to them being in the top half of the NHL, along with the Maple Leafs, and expected goals for. In fact, these two teams, their combined expected goals for per game is 6.46. I'm no mathematician, but that is technically higher than 6, which is the set total for tonight. And another reason why, or at least a result of their new wide open style of play, is the Islanders are just terrible defensively. 29th in expected goals against at 3.57. They're allowing the 3rd most high danger scoring chances per game allowing 14.41. And that's going to hurt them tonight because the Maple Leafs shooting percentage has been trending in the right direction. They're in the bottom 5 of the NHL early in the year in shooting percentage, but they've picked it up in that area. 13th in the NHL in shooting percentage over their last 10 games, 11th over their last 5 games. So we're seeing some positive regression from their shooting recently. So I think we're going to see a lot of goals in tonight's Eastern Conference matchup between the Islanders and the Maple Leafs.
All right, over. There you have it. Next up, we're off to New Jersey, where the Edmonton Oilers are intended to take on the Devils. And you know, if the Devils are playing, then we're betting on them, God damn it. We've been doing it a lot lately, been cashing in on them over the past couple of weeks. So we'll try to do it again because the Devils just aren't the hottest team in hockey. They're the hottest team in all of sports right now. 12 straight wins for the New Jersey Devils, coming in at minus 150 here tonight. The 12 straight wins, that includes 5 straight at home, where they outscored the opponent 19-8. You dig into the analytics, you know, I think most people consider the Oilers a good team, but not so much lately. Expected goals for percentage over the last 10, first versus 20th in favor of New Jersey. First versus 17th in high danger chances for percentage as well. And pucks on nets, far from an advanced analytic. But the Oilers are absolutely getting destroyed in shot differential. Second versus 29th in shot differential, favoring New Jersey. Keeping it rolling. Lucky number 13 tonight. And we're going to wrap things up out on the West Coast. Beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. The Vegas Golden Knights are in town. I'm going to take those Golden Knights. Full game money line, minus 135. So dig into the numbers. Analytics edge goes to Vegas in this one, 100%. Nice gap between the teams in expected goals for percentage and high danger chances for percentage. Dirty versus disciplined. Vancouver is the dirty. Third most penalty minutes for Vancouver versus the fewest in the NHL for Las Vegas. Hurting them even more. Vancouver, their penalty kill is second to last in the NHL. And expect a big edge between the pipes tonight for the Golden Knights. Logan Thompson, the pride of Calgary, Alberta, Canada, the likely starter for Vegas, coming in at 6 goals against average, taking on, most likely, Thatcher Demko, randomly from San Diego, California.
Oh,
They
yes.
don't make good goalies in San Diego, Ian. He's 56 in goals against the average. Vancouver is 2-10 in his starts this season. Give me the Golden Knights, minus 135. All right, Tito. I think he's hit the woo sound effect 8 times. We're 11 minutes in.
I think he needs a bigger library of sound effects. He has 2 that he keeps going back
That's
to.
your challenge here for the week, Tito. You have 2, and you go to the well way too often. I'll call him out live on YouTube. Why not?
Broncos country.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, so that's 8 total picks from Ian and I. If you're looking to fade, if you're looking to tail, the choice quite simply is yours. I recommend placing your action over at BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Let me tell you a little bit about them. Kick off your day of sports betting with the king of sportsbooks. Sign up at BetMGM using bonus code VIBONUS. And your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. That's VIBONUS. All one word, no spaces. And your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. If you're going to be betting, you might as well take advantage of that bonus. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 or older. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Woo! All right, Ian, as we do here on Mondays, let's recap a little bit about what we saw yesterday in the NFL. Let's start by taking a look at the Super Bowl futures odds board. Nice little bounce back, a get-right spot, I guess you could call it, for the Buffalo Bills. They remain the favorite to win the Super Bowl at 4-1. They were a big favorite in that game. You don't want to give them too much credit, but maybe a bit of a difficult situation for them. They were expecting to play at home. They needed to fly to Detroit on short notice, so not exactly ideal, but they pulled that out. Kansas City Chiefs, a bit of a squeaky one. But they're good at the end of these tight games. They're second on the odds board. The Philadelphia Eagles starting to show some cracks. They must have been losing for 95% of that game versus the Jeff Saturday Colts, so not so hot all of a sudden. Maybe people pumping the brakes a bit on them. The 49ers, plus 850, they're in action tonight. That number will improve if they win tonight. If you like the 49ers to win the Super Bowl and you're planning on placing a bet, don't wait till the end of this game tonight where they're a 10-point favorite. Bet it right now, this exact moment. The Dallas Cowboys, 10-1. All the credit in the world. That's a great win for them. They beat the living shit out of the Vikings, but my problem with Dallas, I can't pull the trigger. They're coached by Mike McCarthy.
Yes, that's the issue.
They can't overcome that in the play. Are you kidding me? Another team, don't waste your money on the Baltimore Ravens. 12-1. That's the performance they have. What was that, a 10-3 win, or was it 13-3 win over the Panthers? That's what you show up with out of your bye. That team cannot win 4 playoff games. The Minnesota Vikings, kind of funny. Like a lot of people going into that Bills game last week were saying, hey, the Vikings are frauds. They're not as good as the record indicates. A lot of luck. Then, hey, we need to pull back because they had that win in Buffalo. They went in and beat the best team in the league. But I think everyone's jumping right back on that wagon that the Minnesota Vikings are frauds after getting destroyed there yesterday. Then we got the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins, 17-1. Winning the Super Bowl, too much to ask for the Dolphins. Let's be fair. I'll be very happy if the Dolphins can get 1 win in the playoffs. That's a big win for them. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, not so bad looking at 17-1. Maybe they're getting it together. We'll see how they do in the second half of the season, but it looks like they're going to get into the playoffs. Not a whole lot of teams you can trust in the NFC right now. The Cincinnati Bengals, my pick to win the Super Bowl at the start of the season, 25-1. I still like them, absolutely. A little shaky, though, versus the Steelers. They should have won that one more convincingly, in my opinion. The Tennessee Titans, 27-1. Great win by them, Ian, on Thursday night. You got to give them credit for that one. He's shaking his head. Ryan Tannehill looked good on that one. And, hey, the Chargers sitting there at 40-1. We see funny things happen in the playoffs all the time. We saw it with the Cincinnati Bengals last year. When they had Mike Williams in that game last night, the Chargers looked pretty good, So I think that's a team, if they can get into these playoffs, they might be able to play spoiler a little bit. So I don't know about winning the Super Bowl, but maybe winning a game or two, not out of the question, the way Justin Herbert can throw the football. But I think the story of the day for me, Ian, and the clown of the day is Zach Wilson of the New York Jets. So this post-game press conference after Wilson led the Jets to a grand total of 3 points. Zach Wilson, the reporter asked him, do you think you let the defense down? Wilson totally dismisses him. No. He looks to another reporter for the next question. I don't like to pick on young quarterbacks, Ian. I'm sensitive to it due to my time as a Tua fan. But I think it's 100% warranted in this case. This guy's a season and a half into his career. Has Zach Wilson had a good game in the NFL yet? You're welcome to dig through his game logs, but you're probably not going to find anything that really stands out. But Zach, you dummy. The offense absolutely let the defense down in that game. You scored 3 fucking points in that game. He went 9 for 22 for 77 yards through the air. And you didn't let your defense down? The defense that allowed 3 points? I know there was a special teams touchdown at the end. You 100% let the defense down. You dummy. And what do you think the defensive players are going to think of Wilson saying no? Being super ultra dismissive. No, we did not let the defense down. You scored 3 motherfucking points, bud. You absolutely did. So I don't know if Zach Wilson, I don't know if he's going to, is he going to follow in the same path as Sam Darnold here? It's kind of starting to look like it to me. And I know Wilson, he kind of endeared himself to everybody coming into the season having sex with his mother's friend. So we all gave him a nice pat on the back. But he's looking like a real jackass here, especially that press conference after the game yesterday. So, Ian, what do you think of Zach Wilson and his long-term prospects as quarterback of the Jets and in the NFL as a whole?
Yeah, I think he's proving not to be the guy in New York. I wouldn't be surprised if they look to get someone else in the draft, although they're not going to have a top draft pick. But that's a quick way to really divide the locker room if you're just going to – you have to take accountability. You have to take responsibility, especially when the numbers don't lie, Joe. He sucked yesterday. Once again, couldn't watch the games yesterday. I looked at the box score, though. I did have Jets money line. So I thought we were going to go in overtime, by the way, in that game. And then I guess the last second punt return lost it for me. But yeah, that's not good by Zach Wilson. They got I don't know, maybe just because of his baby face, but he just looks immature to me. And he kind of acted immature yesterday. They got to go in
he was a goof. Yeah, that really turned me on. Not that I was high on Zach Wilson by any means, but yeah, just an absolute joke. So I want to get you to weigh in on two teams. You fancy yourself as someone who likes to point out frauds in the NFL, and one that I discussed earlier, the Minnesota Vikings. Talk about a no-show performance, losing 40-3 at home. And I know the Cowboys are a good team, maybe a tier 2, tier 3 team in the NFL, but 40-3. So the Vikings really getting exposed, and also the New York Giants. They got their ass kicked by the Detroit Lions in that game. So fair to call both of those teams frauds at this point of the season?
Yes, I would say the Vikings are a good team. They're just not, the 8-1 Vikings from last week. You got to evaluate past just a team's record. I saw some people saying, how are the Vikings underdogs when they're 8-1? Well, that goes to show that record isn't the only thing that you should look at when evaluating a team. But I will say the Vikings are still a playoff team. The Vikings are still a good team. The Giants are not a good team. They're definitely a bottom 10, if not bottom 5 team in the NFL right now. I would say the Giants are bigger frauds than the Vikings. And they got exposed yesterday. This Giants team will probably make the playoffs because they've won enough games at this point. But they'll be a one-and-done team for sure. They don't deserve to be a playoff team in my mind. They stink.
You think the Atlanta Falcons deserve to be a playoff team after their big win yesterday?
More than the Giants, absolutely. Falcons-Giants played on a neutral field. The Falcons would be favored by 4.5 points, I'd say.
I don't know about that.
Well,
that'd be a pick, maybe, Ian. 4.5
Oh,
points.
come on, dude. A pick?
The way you are in and out on your Atlanta Falcons with each swaying back and forth, they lose. Okay, I'm out on them. I thought they're back to, they pick up a win. Okay, hey, this looks like a team that could make some noise here. I don't know about your Falcons, Ian, but yeah, they're still not out of it by any means. I don't know about the upcoming schedule, but I don't know if they'd be favored by 4.5 points on a neutral field.
Easily, at least.
All right. Did they play this season?
No.
Or did they already?
Did not, unfortunately. No,
they do not.
They didn't play this year. Maybe
would have liked to have seen
playoffs. Who knows?
And you're not willing to give the Tennessee Titans any credit for that win on Thursday night?
Here's the thing about the Titans. I finally said I was going to join them. I said if you can't beat them, join them. I did for 1 week. They won and covered against the Broncos, but then I got off them again this week, and then they beat the Packers. So I don't know. Mike Vrabel maybe is just the greatest coach of all time and can just somehow win games even though his team stinks. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what way to go with the Titans anymore. I guess I'll just go back to betting on them. They've covered like 8 straight games or something.
Yeah.
The Titans are the most confusing team in professional sports. I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like them either. You look at all their stats and you think this must be like a 3-7 team. This team must suck. But no,
Nope.
They're showing up and they're in most of these games. And I think they beat the shit out of the Packers at Lambeau Field. Pretty impressive, Ryan Tannehill looked good with the deep ball in that game. A couple of really nice throws by him. And the last thing that I will point out here, Ian, the Denver Broncos under train keeps on rolling. Now 9-1 to the under here this season. Wow. Combined for 38 points yesterday. with the Raiders, and it was just beautiful watching this underdeveloped, missed field goals, a ton of punting, just a totally pleasurable experience if you were on the under with me on that one. So yeah, a lot of pleasure was had. I was very warm watching that one, Ian. But we have them here going into week 11, a total of 35 versus the Carolina Panthers, and you are goddamn right that I will be pounding the under in that game. This might be the best under team in the history of football. The fewest points scored, but the fewest points allowed. Historically awful in the red zone offensively, really good defensively in the red zone. So it's just absolutely beautiful watching this play out for Denver. So yeah, I'll be all over the under on that one. I would bet that maybe that will get bet up a point and a half, maybe half a point. So we'll wait to the big Wednesday show. I'll tell you all about that here in a moment. Yes. But guys, if you're watching on YouTube right now, do me a favor, hit the like button right below me, the subscribe button right below that. We're getting the numbers up here at Vegas Insider, so we thank each and every one of you for tuning into the program. We appreciate you very, very much. And if you like what we do here at Vegas Insider, I encourage you to check out the Vegas Insider app. We've got up-to-date, easy-to-navigate odds for every major sport. We have all our latest shows, best bet videos, and podcasts, props, trends, features, news, all on the Vegas Insider app. Download the Vegas Insider app right now on Apple and Android. Bet better with the Vegas Insider app. There you have it. And producer Tito weighing in that Joe Flacco has more TD passes than Wilson this season. Yeah, Zach Wilson's awful. He has more interceptions than touchdowns this season. His best game through the air, he threw for 355 versus the Patriots a couple weeks ago, but he also had 3 back-breaking interceptions in that game. Flacco hasn't played since September, by the way. I don't get it with some of these quarterbacks. It's like a marketing campaign. Like going into like the year where Wilson got drafted, like 6 months before that draft, did anybody know who Zach Wilson really was? Like among casual fans, maybe some. But it was like a marketing campaign to get this guy drafted. I mean, Mac Jones is better than Zach Wilson. I'm not a big Mac Jones guy. Justin Fields is proving serviceable if he can learn how to throw it a little bit better. But yeah, the revolving door of quarterbacks going to continue here for the New York Jets. Okay, Ian, let's get into some viewer picks here. Just a couple submissions here today. Both for hockey, I think. Our regular, Nathan Schreckengost. Give this guy a follow on Twitter if you like betting on sports. If you're watching this show right now, I'm assuming you like betting on sports. He likes the under in the Carolina-Winnipeg game. Carolina 6-1 to the under in their last 7. Winnipeg 8-1 to the under in their last 9. Yeah. Winnipeg home game 7-1 to the under, a large part to Connor Hellebuck. Strong start. Yeah, he's been one of the better goalies in the NHL. Carolina last 10 games ranked second in expected goals allowed and first in shots allowed. Carolina 30th ranked power play. Winnipeg 3rd ranked penalty kill. Yeah, looks like a good look there from Nathan. What do we have next? Yeah, a bit of a odd one here. I like the odd ones, though. You don't see many shot on net props on the show here, but our buddy Matty Puppy Sports, he likes Jack Hughes over 3.5 shots. He's hit this in 12 of 18 games this year, including an 8-shot game and 4 7-shot games. Expect a fast-paced game against McDavid and Edmonton. You know, I don't bet many totals. I haven't bet one single total yet in the NHL yet this season. They yank the goalies so damn early these days with, 2 minutes left? But I got to say, when you have a bet, I make a lot of these bets for a team to win in regulation. There's nothing like the last minute and a half of a hockey game when one of the teams has the goalie pulled, essentially creating the 6-on-5. But how many times have you been burned this season by the empty netter?
Not many times, to be honest. Actually, this year I've been betting just the strategy I've had in the NHL the past couple of years was to bet a lot of puck lines and to win in regulations, and then I get burned by the empty netter or when it goes to overtime. This year I've just been laying the juice on the money line, and it's worked out a lot better for me. I think games go to overtime a lot more often than people think. So I just go money line and I lay the juice a lot of the time, and it's worked so far. I'm profitable so far this NHL season, so that's all I can ask for.
Yes, sir. Okay, so a bit of a short week here at Chasing That Paper. Of course, the Thanksgiving holiday is upon us on Thursday, so we're just going to have 3 shows this week. Today, obviously, tomorrow, where I might be flying solo. Not too sure about that yet. And Wednesday, but Wednesday is going to be a mega NFL show for us, where Ian will be joining me. We're going to be ripping through the Thanksgiving Day games and, of course, our favorite looks for Sunday as well. So you're going to want to tune in for that. Now, Ian, what do you have going on over at BetSided and with your podcast that we can look forward to?
Yeah, daily bet slip today at 5 p.m. Eastern. That'll be at least 3 days this week. I don't know about the end of the week. I got to figure that out as my cat walks across the screen once again. Other than that, the Bacon Bets podcast should be out probably Wednesday, to be honest. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make my picks and record tonight, but maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Check that out.
Well, it's such a grind if you want to do this properly. You know, the comedian do. And we're paid to do it, so I'm not complaining, but it's so much time in front of a computer just looking at these numbers. We want to get you guys winners, right? So we're going to work hard, and we want to retain our employment as well. So we will continue to work hard for that. All right, so we thank Ian very much for joining us. We will see him again on Wednesday. We thank you very much for watching. Good luck with your picks tonight, unless you are fading us. And as always, keep chasing that paper. Woo!